To be consistent in carrying out this argument, you're constantly talking about our satellising of places like Cuba and the Dominican Republic and so on and so forth, and yet we never occupied them in the sense in which you're talking about.
Well, we never occupied the Dominican Republic. We sent 25,000 troops there in 1965 in an occupation.
No, I'm talking about I'm talking
well,
about
the American Marines were in there dozens of times since 1900.
I think you're being evasive, and I don't think
evasive?
you want to be.
No,
Let me ask you this. Is it possible?
It's not evasive at all.
Is it possible?
We just simply repeatedly sent troops to
possible,
Nicaragua, the Dominican Republic, Cuba, etc., etc.
Is it possible?
How can you know that I'm self-censoring? How can you know that journalists are
self-censoring? I'm sure you believe everything you're saying. But what I'm saying is if you believe something different, you wouldn't be sitting where you're sitting.
Robert Kaplan, who writes about foreign policy, I spoke to him recently about his book, Warrior Politics, and I put some of your points to him. He said, I wish Noam Chomsky had been with me in Romania in the 70s or the 80s. Adult choice of foreign policy is made on distinctions. The argument that Chomsky makes has no distinctions because there's a difference between the quantity and the kind of dictators that America supported and the quantity and the kind of things we went in communist world for 44 years.
Okay, so let's take his example of Romania, Ceausescu, hideous regime, which he forgot to tell you the United States supported. Supported right till the end, as did Britain. So the example that he gave is a perfect example, and it's a small example, because we support much more brutal regimes.
This is an argument considering which there are 2 points of view.
Well, let's discuss it then.
Historically.
Yeah, in fact, you see, there's much more, if you want to be serious about it, there's more evidence that South Vietnam tried to colonize North Vietnam than conversely. In fact, South Vietnamese commandos were going, military forces, regular military forces, were going north considerably earlier than the time when we even proclaimed that the infiltration began from north to south.
Did they bump into the refugees coming south?
The refugees were coming south were going in both directions, in fact, in 1954-55, and at least according to Bernard Fall, the commandos began going north in 56 or 57. The first claimed infiltration from the north was in 59, and that was South Vietnamese coming south. So if one wants to talk about, again, the real world, the first motion
the trouble is, your difficulty, Mr. Chomsky, is in my judgment, you never know where neatly to begin your historical
well, you choose
sequence.
the point of beginning.
Well, the point really is that if you're starting to say that 1959 was a provocation because there were...
No, it wasn't a provocation. I said when we claimed that the
I say, well,
began.
but how about the people who were going from north to south who were talking about the misery that had been brought about Ho Chi Minh and so forth?
When was that? Well, which people are you talking about? I don't know.
Well, I'm talking about Vietnamese, north and south.
Of people.
Do we need a constabulary, a force, a central force? In this case, it's America because it's a superpower, to sometimes use unjust means in the service of just causes.
What are the just causes? What was the just cause in, for example, slaughtering Kurds in southeastern Turkey? What was the just cause? What was the just cause in supporting Suharto when he killed a couple 100,000 landless peasants in Indonesia, went on to become one of the biggest torturers in the world, and then slaughtered a third of the population of East Timor? What was the just cause? What was the just cause when we invaded South Vietnam 40 years ago, ending up killing millions of people, leaving the country devastated, they're still dying from chemical warfare? What was the just cause? Can I continue? Yeah, the just cause for people like Kaplan is we did it. Therefore, it's a just cause.